So thanks everybody for joining today. We literally have hundreds of people on this webinar, and I do appreciate everybody joining. We have both customers and hopefully future customers with us. But let me cover real briefly what we're about to cover with you today. Since we do have some folks on here that don't know TopBuilder, we're going to cover a little bit about TopBuilder and our background, so you know a little bit about us. We're going to cover the background of the topic itself and why we chose this topic to be basically the first webinar in the series of webinars we're doing. We have a couple quick poll questions. These poll questions are really designed to allow me to understand what kind of integration we could be doing with you, whether it be Outlook or Gmail or another integration, so I can use the right terms when I'm going through the presentation. And then we'll dive right into the topic on scheduling and calendar integration for construction. And typically, if you've been to one of our webinars, we typically talk about why this is important, and then we talk about how we address these particular issues. And then what we like to do as best we can is cover some real world examples. This particular webinar is going to be tough to do that because we're doing a little tap dance between, TopBuilder and our Outlook calendar. So I'm going to talk you through most of it. But then I have some screenshots in here that I can share with you all with the examples of what these appointments and alerts and the items we're discussing today look like. Okay, and we'll cover some next steps and we'll wrap up with a Q&A. Again, Delisa will cover the questions and read them out as they come in at the end of the webinar. And then, of course, like I said, we're gonna follow up with an email, which will include a recording for this, a link to the downloaded presentation, and also a link to our webinar schedule for the next year. All right. So a little bit about TopBuilder for those that those of you who don't know us.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Have we started the recording?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. The recording is started. So we did a step. Thank you, Lisa. We've been around in this space for 12 years. We started TopBuilder in 2008. However, most of our experience was prior to that, believe it or not. There's experience here in the discipline of mechanical engineering. I have a mechanical engineering degree and work construction as a mechanical engineer for a period of time. Also in specialty contracting and building materials. We have folks that owned building materials supply companies and worked on crews, general contracting crews and roofing crews. And then in terms of the CRM, there's a long history of CRM. So I was the CRM manager at Hewlett Packard for 11 years, but it was also a consultant for many years after that, prior to TopBuilder. And I did that with Arthur Andersen or Accenture now, and with a bunch of other companies too. We're serving hundreds of builders across the US and Canada, and that continues to grow. And we have an office in Houston and in Atlanta. Okay, so how do we help construction companies real quick? Because today we're just going to talk about scheduling and calendar integration and email integration as well. But for the folks that don't know, and you can reach out to us to learn more about these things, but we do help construction companies in a lot of other ways with the CRM designed for construction, with sales flow and workflow and sales automation, basically automated follow-up, alerts and reminders. There's bid management and bid tracking in here, and that allows you to maintain a bid schedule and make sure that you have estimators and project managers assigned before it gets too late, which also integrates with their calendars, which is nice, and their alerts. bid scoring and prioritization, quoting, job scheduling, email marketing and drip campaigns. We have marketing strategy services that we're launching this year to help companies with their marketing strategy and implementation. We'll have some webinars coming out on that. And then a whole ton of analytics, mainly around checks and balances to monitor your usage of TopBuilder, your goals, make sure they're aligned with your corporate goals and your activities are aligned with your corporate goals. Make sure your marketing is generating enough leads to reach your goals, but also, are you, performing properly in terms of your closure rates and follow up and lots of things. So if you want to hear more about that, please let us know. Okay, so poll question number 1. We're going to try to go quickly on this one. So I've launched the poll question. And by the way, we did this morning and I messed it up. And I hope I don't do it again. Oh, I have to select the poll. Okay, good. Okay, so the first poll question is, what do you use currently for your company or your personal calendar and email integration software? And this allows me to speak intelligently during the meeting about that. All right. I've got, well, we have hundreds of people here, so we're at about 64% have voted. I don't want to take up too much of your valuable time, so we'll give it a couple seconds and then we'll close it. Okay, looks like it has sort of stopped. Well, nope. Okay, 75% of you have voted, so I'll go ahead and present the results. 76% of you all use Outlook, 19% use Google, and 7% that you don't have a standard yet. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that poll. And it allows me to share the results. I read them off, but there you go. So I wasn't lying. All right, so the next one is, how does your company manage your schedules, your emails, your appointments, those kind of things? I'll go ahead and launch this one. Now you can answer multiple choice on this one. You can select more than one. Okay, so calendar software like Outlook, Gmail is the overwhelm. Well, this is interesting. It's moving towards scheduling software. Half of you have voted, 60% have voted. I also do these poll questions so I can drink some coffee too. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'll close the polls. I'll share the results. 83% Outlook or Gmail, not a big surprise. 10% whiteboard, very interesting. I may know who you are. 37% scheduling software, that's a pretty big number. And then 20% are using other tools. That's fantastic. Thank you all for voting. And that does help me work through this. Okay, so let's talk about the topic itself. So this is the first webinar we're doing in a series of webinars that we're going to do every month starting this month. And it'll go all through 2021. We're going to rotate. There are going to be 3 a month. We're going to rotate between educational webinars, best practices, and we're going to highlight certain features of TopBuilder in these webinars. And then at the end of the month, we're going to send out a newsletter summarizing the webinars, but we will always have a recording, okay, available on our website at topbuildersolutions.com/webinars. And this will be all our past and future webinars. And you'll also get invitations to these things, and you'll get it on our newsletter as well. And we'll send you a copy of this link at the end of this. Okay, so that's cool. Now, back to the topic, one of the reasons why we chose this topic as our first webinar is, we talk to a lot of people. We talk to literally thousands of contractors a year, either through our user conferences, our speaking engagements, our webinars, our demos, our networking events, whatever. We're talking to literally thousands of contractors every year. And we always ask them, what are your challenges? What are your pain points? And we did a separate webinar on that, by the way, but the one thing that we always hear is collaboration, getting organized, communication, coordination. Scheduling isn't as obvious, but they mention that a lot. But all of this feeds into this topic. And so we feel like it was important to talk about this right now and also provide you with a solution. And one of the things that we like about what we're going to talk about today is TopBuilder actually, we didn't follow any other approach on how we handle scheduling and communicating dates and appointments and reminders and alerts. We took our own unique approach, and I think you'll see that in the presentation, but it's very important that we communicate how we're doing this, because I think it really, really solves a lot of problems. And I'd like to say, before we dive into that part of it, I forgot to say this on the last slide, but we have been using this internally for quite some time. So this topic, this particular item, has literally changed my life. And that sounds weird to say that, but it has changed every day how I get up and do things. And I don't have to go check email alerts that came in a week ago to see if I have something going on. I don't have to look for reminders and alerts in TopBuilder or wait for an email. I still get the emails, but what I do now is I just look at my calendar. And my calendar tells me, do I have to follow up on something? Do I have a new opportunity I need to deal with? I'm not on a crew, but if you were on a crew, you could check your calendar to see, what do I have coming up? Or if you're an estimator, or if you're a project manager, or you're a salesperson or a sales agent, you'll see it on your calendar from now on, which does literally change the way you work, and for a good way too. All right, so jumping into this now, the construction is unique. Okay, we serve the home builder market as well, and they're not quite. When I say home builder market, we're talking about new home sales. They don't have quite the dynamics that a construction company has. And we say this in every webinar. Every construction company is different, but for the most part, you have these things. And so what we're talking about in construction, okay, is you're dealing with a sales team, you're dealing with estimators, you're dealing with project managers, crews, subcontractors, management, owners, investors maybe. We actually do have a lot of customers that have investors that they have to produce reports for their investors. And then, of course, you have customers. And I know they're not practicing social distancing there in the middle, but hopefully we'll get over that pretty soon. But yeah, they all got to be working together. And things, we've got new bids coming in. We've got bid due dates. We've got follow-up tasks and schedules. We've got job start dates and end dates. We have other dates that are due, and it depends on the type of contractor you are, but maybe you have due dates for submittals. And then, of course, appointments, going on site to do estimates, to meet with customers, to actually do the job. All of these things have to be coordinated. Everybody has to be working together. And you don't want to miss deadlines. You want to make sure you're properly following up with everything. You're communicating and you're planning. And that, my goodness, that's pretty tough, especially if you're in multiple locations. And many of our customers are in multiple locations or working from home for whatever reason. So it's, like I said, it's critical. All right. So why scheduling and calendar integration? We talked about the different teams, but when it comes to working the process from beginning to end, and we're talking about, when I mean end, even after the job is completed, it all starts and ends in TopBuilder all the way through. From the beginning, time you find out of a new lead, all the way through to the bidding phase, the preparation phase of the bid. You're producing the estimate, you're producing a quote, you're following up on that. Hopefully you get the job, you're scheduling crews, you do the work, the job is done, and you want to follow up after the job is done, by the way, to make sure if you have a service business, you get that service work, or if you want the next job that comes up for that customer, or even to survey them to find out how you did, submit a review, tons of things. And all of this glues it all together with alerts, reminders, calendar appointments, and then that all syncs up with your company calendar, your personal calendar. So it all works together, and it's fantastic. Okay. One thing we all know in this business is things constantly change. If you're a roofer, the weather's going to affect your dates. Dates change, things happen, people leave, people get sick, people have to take vacation. So you reassign people, you change your dates, you move things around. Well, guess what? It's gotta change with you, man. It has to change your calendar. It has to change the appointments. It has to remind everybody and alert everybody if you're reassigning a job to a different crew or a different project manager or estimator or whatever. Everybody's got to know about it, and everybody has to get the alerts, and it needs to show up on their calendar. So when I say alert, I'm talking about an email alerts getting sent to them, and they can click on it and open up the opportunity or the bid or the job in their browser, which opens it up in TopBuilder. And then the calendar appointments also have the alerts and reminders in the actual appointment. But having all this in one place is critical and saves a ton of time. All right. One thing we're going to talk about today that was not implied in the topic is client communications. Okay. So in TopBuilder, you may be sending out quotes. And I got a comment on this week. When we hooked up TopBuilder to their Outlook and they send out a quote or a proposal and it goes through their Outlook straight to the customer, it's a big deal. First of all, it doesn't get kicked back due to spam we hope that never happens no matter what you're using, but it can happen. But it's much less likely if it's coming from your Outlook to them to be blocked for spam. And it's more personal. It's coming from your Outlook. If they reply to it, comes back to your Outlook. You'll see the bounces, and you'll also see the quotes and the proposals and the emails going out your sent box. It will actually show up in your sent email folder and say, hey, look, you sent this email on this date. All of it goes through Outlook, but it originates from TopBuilder, which is super cool. And this is not just quotes and proposals, but automated follow-up emails that you might set up, one-on-one emails you may want to pop out to a customer, because if you originate that from TopBuilder, all the history, is in there and everything. And then, if you're communicating with trades or subs and customers in other ways, it goes through your Outlook. It's a much cleaner experience. Okay, we're going to talk about that too. All right, well, how do we make this happen? We're getting into the logistics here, and we're way ahead of schedule. We probably only have about 10 minutes left. We did this one this morning as well, and it only took 30 minutes, so we may be on track for that. But how it works is you simply log into TopBuilder and you register your email account, whether it's Outlook, whether it's Gmail, whether it's Apple, whether it's some other account. You connect it to TopBuilder. I'm going to walk you through this in a second. Then you can specify which calendar you want to use. You will set your preferences. In other words, I want to use this calendar for, if I'm assigned to a project as the salesperson and it has a bid due date, I want to see that on my calendar. Or maybe you don't, but you can turn these features on and off. What do I want on my calendar? What do I don't want on my calendar? And it's fascinating to be able to do that because, everybody doesn't want everything on their calendars. Or you might have multiple calendars. Okay. All right. So after you set your preferences up and you start using this with TopBuilder, all the information will be in TopBuilder under the lead or the job. A job is just a lead that has been awarded. Your team members, your sales teams, your project managers, your estimators, your crews, all these, your customers, management teams, all in there. Your due dates for your bids, your jobs, your tasks, even if emails are scheduled to go out automatically, those will show up. Now tasks appear on there, so they're reminders to tell you you've got to do something. And then of course appointments, and then all this is in the history. And what happens is when this is in TopBuilder and you set it all up, it just seamlessly synchronizes with your calendar. And so it'll just show up. It'll be there. It's kind of cool. And like I said, we've been doing this for quite a while ourselves. All right, so I know what you all are saying. That's great, Dave, but let's see it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to bounce over here. No, I'm going to bounce over here. Okay, so I'm already logged in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through a bid opportunity, a lead from start to end, and I'm going to talk you through the touch points on how it touches your sales teams, your estimators, project managers, crews, subs, customers, all those things. I'm going to try to walk you through that as best I can. In the presentation, which you will get a copy of, I've got screenshots of a lot of these things, okay? So, what do the calendar appointments look like in your calendar? We have a bid due date for this project. We have something called a bid calendar, which is kind of cool, which synchronizes with your Outlook or your Gmail. Follow-up tasks, we have an alert when an estimator has been assigned to a lead. And this is a project manager assignment to a job. I have all these screenshots in here. I tried to do this morning and show you my actual calendar, and it was kind of difficult because I had all kinds of alerts popping up when I'm doing these things, and it was a bit awkward. So I'm going to stick with the screenshots now, and if you want to see it live, we're welcome to show it to you in a demo. But I think this will get the point across. All right, so I'm on my dashboard. I may have received an alert already that a new lead has come in, maybe not. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to add my agenda to my dashboard, which is actually and sorry, I did some testing this morning, so I have some redundancy here. But these items, which are on my TopBuilder calendar, will be in my Outlook calendar as well. TopBuilder uses Outlook. So you see this this daily agenda, just so you know that's on your Outlook, if you set your preferences that way. So we have that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we will go in and we would register our Outlook or our Gmail calendar. And what you do is you simply click on this button, enter your email, and it will identify whether you're on Outlook or Gmail, give you a login page. You'll enter your Outlook email address or your Outlook password or your Gmail password, not your TopBuilder password, and it will connect you to your Outlook or your Gmail. Now, I'm flipping over to our website, and I'm going to provide a link on this. These instructions are on the website for you to see, and there's a video on it. So you'll be able to see this if you need to. Okay, but once I've got my Outlook connected, what I can do is, hold on, we got somebody raising their hand here. What's going on? I don't see it. I'm gonna keep going because I can't tell what it is. But okay, so once you've got the calendar connected or Outlook connected, it could be Gmail as well. You could specify which calendar you want to use. Most of you have multiple calendars in Outlook. So I'm going to pick one of those. And then I'm going to say, how do I want to use this Outlook account? Do I want it to send out email campaigns, individual emails, newsletters, quotes, internal emails, and do I want to use it for my calendar appointments? Yes or no? Okay. And the reason why you set those preferences is you might set up a shared email account, and we do that too, like info@topbuildersolutions.com. It's a shared Outlook account, and that's where we might want our email campaigns or our newsletters to go out of, if that makes sense. So you can send them out individually, but you're going to get all the bounces and all the out of office replies. I got them this week. I got thousands of them this week. And I may not want to do that again, but it's your choice. You can do that. Now, just so you all know, the email that you received that invited you to this webinar came from our Outlook, came from my Outlook account, and I checked this box, send email campaigns, and that's how you got the email, was from my Outlook. I doubt you could tell the difference, but that's what happened. Okay, so now that you're connected to your company email or your personal email, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to create a lead, a new opportunity. Now, this can come in from your website, or this could come in from an interface, Construct Connect, or one of the other partners we have, a Sales Rabbit. We got people on here that use Sales Rabbit. It could come in from that. And then once it's in TopBuilder, I'm going to create this manually. But once it's in TopBuilder, it hits TopBuilder. Whoops, I better be a little bit more specific. There we go. So we've got this company, and I'm going to call the opportunity web. Let me just say new construction. I'm not going to type too long here. Okay, new construction and demolition project. And we're going to go ahead, and what we're going to say is we're going to set a bid due date. Let's say the bid is due, we don't want it on Christmas. Let's just say it's due Friday at 5 p.m. Okay, so we have that new job that we're going to set up. Now, since this lead has been assigned to me, and I have said I want calendar appointments for bid due dates as the salesperson, this new opportunity is going to show up on my calendar saying you have a bid due Friday at 5 o'clock. Okay. And again, I believe I have an example of that. Yep, here we go. So right here on the left-hand, right here on the left-hand side, I can get my pen out. I have a bid due date. That's what you're going to see on your calendar. Now, what it does is it sets it on the calendar at the time it's due and makes it 30 minutes long. So if any of you have questions about that, that's what we do. Okay, so that's the deal there. And bouncing back over to TopBuilder. Okay, I'll go ahead and just click enter more info, and then it's going to take me into the job or the lead. Now, on this lead, I have a bid due date, and it has told me about it. It has sent me an alert. It sent me in a calendar appointment, and that's on my Outlook calendar. Now, what's going to happen now is I can go ahead and say, well, I have a project manager assigned to this, or you can assign the project manager later. But if I go ahead and assign the project manager to this lead or this opportunity, nothing is going to happen yet because I don't have a start date and an end date. It will give me an alert that I've been assigned to the project for sure, but I don't have a start date and an end date, so I won't have the start date and the end date of the project on my calendar. But I will get an alert at this point as the project manager. Okay, great. So now we've got this, and let's say we're working on it, and we're preparing bids. Okay, but now, man, I got to assign an estimator. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to assign an estimator to this project, and you will see that I can go up here and I can say, well, I have a bid calendar, open up my bid calendar, and I can see when bids are due. So it's due on Friday, and well, it's yellow, which means I don't have an estimator assigned to this bid. So I can just say, okay, I'm going to assign an estimator. I'm going to make Brooke my primary estimator. I can assign supporting estimators or not. And then once I close that, you will see this turns white. And now that it's white, it means it's good to go. I have an estimator assigned. But let's say there's some scope changes on the project and you need to change the bid due date. Well, all you got to do is drag it over. And now the estimators have gotten an update that says you've got a new bid due date. It moved the item on their calendar over to the 21st, the estimator and the salesperson. So their calendar now changed immediately. Okay, cool. So now, what are we going to do at this point? So we've gotten to the point where we've submitted a bid. Okay, let me go find that opportunity again. And I'm going to go into the opportunity. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to submit the bid. And that what should happen there is it should remove any sales-oriented tasks off your calendar. And what I mean by sales-oriented tasks, I mean like follow-up emails that you might follow up on the opportunity, bid due dates, because we're done. We've submitted the bid. It will remove these items off your calendar. So in other words, it'll do the housekeeping for you. Now, if I moved it to status of lost sale, if I moved it to status awarded, same thing. It's going to clean it up for you. Okay, so, but what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and say, okay, we got the job. Yay, cool. The job is ours. And now I need to do something. I need to make sure the project manager knows when the job is going to start and when it's going to end. I need to let my crews know, my project managers know, all these things. So I'm going to the job board and I'm going to say, well, okay, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Different crews assigned to different jobs, but I need to schedule this job and get my crew and my project manager on the calendar. So I'm going to go find that job, which is right here. It's an awarded job, and I can filter it if I need to. But I've got an awarded job, and I'm going to say, all right, we're going to go ahead and start that job on the 23rd. So I drag it onto my calendar, and you can see it's still got a gray, black box around it. It's still selected. It's now on my calendar. I'm going to say it's a 3-day job. So I'm going to change the start date and the end date. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assign a crew or a subcontractor. And I can filter and sort. I've got my internal crews. I've got my subcontractors. But I want to choose an internal crew. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and select this crew. I happen to be on that crew. It changed the color to yellow, meaning I have a crew. And now the crew is going to get an alert, an email alert, that says, I've got a new job assigned to me. It will put the start date and the end dates of the job on the calendar. All the details will be there, the location of the job, the customer, all the information they need on the calendar appointment, and it will include a link that they can just click on from Outlook, and it'll open up that job in TopBuilder and basically take them straight to this screen. Cool. So I said this a little bit already, but one of the things that we do is if this job is completed or lost, we change the status of a job, we change the status of a task, we change the status of a bid, it cleans it up for you. And I've been doing a lot of testing on this stuff, and I've got tons of junk on my calendar right now, test data, test schedules, test bids, and all I got to do is go in here and close them out, and they get removed automatically, which is sweet. Okay, well, candidly, that's it. And we ran a little bit over the 30 minutes, but we planned this for an hour. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take questions. And I think we got a bunch of them.
So one question was, and I think it was kind of early on, where does the agenda originate? TopBuilder or Outlook?
TopBuilder.
Or either?
TopBuilder. So right. So right now I understand the question, and I know who's asking it. But they at the moment they have to start in TopBuilder, and I understand that it's pushed to TopBuilder. However, what may be implied in this question, I'm going to speculate here, is you may be bringing in jobs from project management software. It could be Sage, it could be Procore, it could be Acumatica, it could be Spectrum, it could be any of these other systems. Okay, if we're bringing those jobs in or those opportunities in from any of these systems, and we're creating the job with start dates and end dates, it will take that job, add it to TopBuilder with the start dates and the end dates, and it will sync that with your Outlook calendar. I think that's part of the question that's in there, but it doesn't have to completely originate in TopBuilder. It can come in through other sources, and as long as it's got a start date and an end date, and it's got a crew or a project manager or an estimator and a bid due date, it will sync with your calendar automatically, which is super cool.
Good. Next, questions are starting to come in and it's scrolling on me. Let me get back here. Anna asked, is there a delay between syncing from Outlook to TopBuilder and vice versa?
There is it's pretty much a one-way sync from TopBuilder to your Outlook. So we're kind of pushing things, but we're also updating things and changing things. But there will be a short delay, and the analogy I use is sort of like if you send yourself an email from your phone and you open up Outlook, it may take a couple seconds to get that email because it's got to retrieve it off the server or whatever. It's the same thing here. It will take a couple seconds for it to show up. Sometimes I refresh, hit the send receive button. But it's a couple seconds. It's not minutes or hours or overnight. It's just like if you sent yourself an email, that timing.
Great. I'm going to come back to one, but the next one is, does everyone in Office have to use the same calendar like Google or Outlook?
No.
Is this?
Sorry, Lisa, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I see some support questions coming in. What I wanted to say is if you have a support question, let's go through TopBuilder support on that, please.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm moving on. And we'll come back and address those with you there. Is this 360 interface with Procore and Sage 100?
It is.
It says, do you still have a copy of the TopBuilder email in order for it to import into TopBuilder? So this is capture history, I believe. The question.
The capture, none of that changes. So that's a good question. So there's a few features in here that you may question. For instance, if you send out an email and you know they opened it, or you send out an email and you know they clicked on a link, those features still exist with this, even if they go through your Outlook. Also, they have, and we're kind of debating on this a little bit to figure out what the laws are, but there's still opt-out buttons. They can opt out. We may remove that. I just want to make sure we're staying in the, within the legal boundaries on that one, but those features exist, and so does the capture history. What is changing a little bit, though, is handling the bounces. It's really difficult for us to handle bounces if they're going through your Outlook. We're trying to address that, and we're also trying to improve on the capture history, but I don't, it's going to be tough, at least right now, to solve that problem until we have a resolution. But all in all, like I said, we've been using it, and I'd rather it, there's benefits to this. I'd almost rather see the bounce immediately in my Outlook, because then I can react to it. And like one of the things that when I sent out the invitation to this webinar is I got a lot of replies that says my email address has changed, and I'm able to react to that. I can change them. Now we have thousands of those for this webinar, but I did what I could, right? And I updated email addresses as fast as I could. So there is a good side.
Okay. So right now, this is not, I'll just answer this one real quick. We are not, because there's a couple around this topic. Right now, we're not, this is between TopBuilder and Outlook or Gmail, but it is not with our integrated partners at this time.
Yeah. But what is...
Vito asks, are you considering a two-way so that so that items on your Outlook calendar show up on your agenda? Did you answer that already?
Yes, and that is part of this solution. I haven't demoed that here, but we're reaching into your, and we got to be a little careful with this because we don't want to bring in trash into your TopBuilder calendar. But what we're doing is we're bringing in mainly like your availability, and we certainly like your feedback on this. But when it comes to scheduling, and it comes to setting appointments, and it comes to setting tasks and things like that, we want to make sure we know when you're available and when you're not in terms of your calendar. So we're bringing in calendar appointments from your Outlook now, and then we're just marking it as busy or not busy, free. And we can talk through this, and we'd like to get your feedback on this. So if we show the details behind each one of these appointments, you may have things in there you don't want to share with your colleagues, right? And I don't. But we're trying to be careful with that and be sensitive to that, but also provide the full features. Okay. All right. Thanks, Lisa. Is there any more? I see a bunch.
Sure. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure I understand that question from Frank. Let's see. I think it's partial. I would love to see if a customer. Oh, okay. Well, that's a different topic. So Frank, we'll address that with you directly. And is there a sales routing option in TopBuilder? I'm sorry, Melissa, I don't understand that question, but that's a great one for support or for training. And then the last one, how close are we to phase 2 to be able to use this calendar integration?
I don't understand that.
I don't understand. I didn't understand the phase 2. So
It's available now.
We're using it right now, so it's available now. Yeah.
Yeah, we got.
I think that's it.
Yeah. So by the way, we do have a copy of these questions. We get a report from GoToWebinar, and we will try to look through these and follow up with you guys, especially for the support items. But we do appreciate you guys attending. And again, we'll send out an email. We got to edit this a little bit, but then we'll send out a link with the presentation and the link to the recording. And certainly, please join us for future webinars. Like I said, we're doing this 3 times a month, starting now. And there'll be a whole series of educational items, best practices, things we hope really help you guys. And we do appreciate you attending. And my goodness, we had hundreds of people register for this webinar. And I guess we're doing something right at least. So that's great. So thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and close the webinar, and we look forward to speaking with y'all soon.